There are three things I love: being happy, not being ill, and making other people happy. So when I got the letter saying, "You get to do a Pac-Man," so I did, and here it is. Pac-Man was first released for the home console in 1980 for the Atari 2600. Now the problem was the Atari 2600's processor was very good, and it was a good system for its time, a very good system, but it couldn't cope with Pac-Man's, let's just say game style. Because I played it recently, I managed to get my hands on one, and the sprites were very... If you want to be more specifically, Pac-Man was, well, Pac-Man shaped. The Pac-Dots were Pac-Dot shaped, and so on and so forth. The only thing I'd say is the sprites didn't look that great. However, it's the Atari 2600, so give it a goddamn break. Now, what I was talking about with the whole thing is the ghosts. They were glitching out all over the place. It seemed as though the Atari 2600 couldn't cope with, I don't know, the same AI in 4 different locations, or just dealing with so much going on at the screen at the same time. However, I have seen some Atari games that are very complicated and dealt with a lot more. So, whatever problem it was, I don't know what it was about. So yes, unfortunately I don't have any footage, or I couldn't get the damn thing to record the bloody Pac-Man. So you're gonna have to look somewhere. I'll find you a good link. I'll put it here. Yeah? Just click there and you'll see what I'm talking about. But then, the NES was invented, and a whole other shitstorm was brewing. Now this is the Pac-Man we all remember, or at least recognise. The controls are simple as can be. You just push the directional buttons and which way you want to go, and you go. The aim of the game is to avoid the ghosts whilst eating all the Pac-Dots, and if you want to fight back, you just gotta eat a bigger Pac-Dot, and then the ghosts will turn blue and you just gotta go nom, 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 nom. But they'll only stay in mode for a very short amount of time, so nom, nom, as fast as you can. This game is just simple fun. However, I do wish there was some kind of jingle to it, like I was playing like some sort of do-do-do-do-do-do-do, or something like that, I don't know. It just seems a little bit dull, and it's NES as well, and there were a ton of good games on the NES. Not saying Pac-Man isn't one of them, I'm just thinking, Namco could have pulled something out of their hat for the NES. That's all I have to say for the original NES title. But I'm a bit unfulfilled. It seems as though somebody asked me to play Pac-Man, but there isn't really that much I could say about it. There are some frustrating parts, and yet there aren't. The game repeats itself over and over again, and if it doesn't, if I just didn't play it for long, then I'm sorry, but I did get a little bit bored after 3 or 4 screens. If only there was a company rivaling Nintendo at the time that created a system to answer to the NES. If only such a masterful system existed. Alright, I'm referring to the SEGA Master System. Now, I owned one of these when I was a kid, but I got to say, I only owned it when I was a kid. This thing broke before, I don't know, my 6th or 7th birthday, so I don't really remember that much. But all I do remember is something a little bit like this. It's 3-dimensional. Okay, this beats the NES one by a long shot. I know it's not actually 3-dimensional, but the sprites make it look as though it's 3-dimensional. This is great. I'm not exactly sure what specs or power the Master System ran on, but as far as I could tell, the Master System and the NES were about the same. Kind of. I don't know, I personally prefer the Master System just because the music, the hardware, and the games they released on there were so good. But, I don't know, there's something, in me that thought the people behind the Master System version had a lot more head muscle than the guys behind the NES version. And what's this? You could jump? Holy shit! Okay, it looks 3D. It gets 1 thumbs up. You can freaking jump over ghosts. It gets 2 thumbs up. It's awesome music. You could get 3 thumbs up somehow. Also, the floor's made out of Lego. That's it. Nothing else to say. This beats everything I've seen so far. I love the original design of the first Pac-Man, no doubt about it. But this pushes the limits of what could have been at the time. It just goes to show, if the right people in charge, you can turn any game that you want into something truly terrific. Sega does what Nintendo don't, bitch. And also, after you've beaten the stage, everything just changes. You know, the hamster effect. You know, the hamster effect. When you clean the cage out for the little guy and you move shit around so he doesn't get bored next time you put him back in. Yeah, that's what I meant by the hamster effect. Because, you know, everything changes. The stage changes. I'm just going to keep pushing that down your throat. The stage changes. And not to rub it in even further, but there are freaking power-ups. Grab the green crap, and now I'm moving like shit off a shovel. This thing is brilliant! Alright, I loved the new design that the SEGA Master System brought us, but despite all of that, I do really love the original design. But I've moved on now. I have a SEGA Megadrive. I don't have a Super Nintendo, and as far as I know, the Super Nintendo didn't release anything classical for the Pac-Man series. So what am I going to do? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to crack open some Mrs. Pac-Man. I found this floating around in my loft, so I gave it a quick whiz bang. And something I've noticed, every time I load up a Pac-Man game, there's no jingle at the main menu. Each one's blank. I know there's like awesome music for Pac-Mania, but you know, you could have thought of something, anything. So it looks as though you could change a bunch of settings, like difficulty or how the maze looks. You know, you could give it a strange pattern, or you can have it on an arcade setting. The thing is I really like about this, you can have a speed up. You can have it choose to be on all you want, off completely, or you can have a button that toggles it whenever you like. So like a ghost is coming up your ass and you just want to go, whoa! I'm digging the arcade feel. It really captures the classic Pac-Man and gives it a lot more edge compared to the original. I'm hoping someday they create another Pac-Man game that follows suit something like this. Keep the classic but make it just as badass. And before I wrap things up, there's something I really like about this game. Apart from the stage changing colour, but that's redundant, if you beat a certain number of stages you get this mini cutscene of how Pac Jr. was born. I think that's some amazing shit. That's all I've got time for. The Pac-Man series are great no matter what game you play. Even the PlayStation 2 series, what are they called now? Pac-Man World. I don't know how I thought that up. So if you liked what you saw, like, favourite and subscribe. Follow my Twitter, like my Facebook and have a look at my DA. It's some good DA. And if any of you have any more requests, I'll be happy to do them. Hope you have all a fantastic day and I'll see you all next time. Bye!